As wokeness overruns American values, it's starting to look a lot like policies you'd see in a communist dictatorship, particularly like Chinese dictator Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution from the 1960s and 70s. Take a look at this. Under Mao's regime, we saw the re-education of the masses. Now in the U.S., we're seeing school teachers and college professors pushing gender ideology. We're also seeing social justice theory, race theory, and Marxist values being pushed onto our kids. In China, there was this destruction of family values. And today in America, we're witnessing a push to end the nuclear family. Under the communist dictatorship Mao Zedong, he persecuted those with different beliefs. And in the U.S., cancel culture and censorship is running wild. And finally, in China, the removal of religion. It's a warning to the U.S. as America faces a sharp decline in religious beliefs and a rising attack on faith-based institutions. Our next guest is Xi Van Fleet. She is a survivor of Mao's revolution, the Cultural Revolution, and she joins us now. So great to have you, Xi. Listen, we had a fantastic, in-depth conversation on this, and I was just so taken aback by the similarities. Let's start with schools. Schools were shut down when you were a kid at the start of this revolution. Can you explain why?
Yes, after the Cultural Revolution started, really soon the school was affected, and the administrators and teachers were just ousted, and no one was running school. And then one day, in my case, I saw the teachers. My teacher wrote on my on the blackboard, "There's no school for 3 days," and that lasted for 2 years. In some cases, even 4 years, no school.
Yeah, so they went and re-indoctrinated some of those teachers, made sure they had the right stuff to teach the kids and continue with the indoctrination. You also talked to us on the podcast about a protected class, which sounds very interesting in the midst of what we're seeing happening with defund the police, who gets arrested for what crimes and who doesn't. Give us a little bit on that.
Well, in order to have a revolution, you have to have enemies. And who are the enemies? The enemies are those classified as the black class. And they were the property owners or the children of property owners, but increasingly the people who fell out of favor of the party and of Mao, and all people who were accused of holding incorrect views. And so those were the enemy. And whoever on the other side, they were the good ones. And they were the ones that carrying out the revolution. But the target kept changing, and anyone at any moment can fall into the black class and become the enemy of the state.
You talked about the Red Guard. What are the parallels between the Red Guard and what you see happening in wokeism right now?
Yeah, in order to have a revolution, you have to have revolutionaries. In Mao's case, he had an army. He had an army that follow his order. Those are the kids. The kids from schools, even as young as elementary schools, high schools, and colleges. And those kids call themselves Red Guards and call Mao their Red Commander-in-Chief. So they're the one carry out the revolution, and they were one doing the cancel culture, destruction of the temples and statues and everything that you saw that's happening here. Yeah. And of course, here we have a different name, and those are I call them Blue Guards.
Yeah, you call them blue dogs, and that would be like BLM and Antifa and people who are on the other side, turning into other people for, trespassing the ideology that is in place right now with the left. Yep. Okay, so let's talk about the family, because the Chinese family is known to be very strong and tight, and yet that was an attack. It needed to come down because it was a threat to the state, correct?
Absolutely. And children, from very young age, we were taught our real parents was the party and Chairman Mao, and our loyalty above all is to the party and to Chairman Mao. So during the Cultural Revolution, we see so many kids turned in their parents, and the family totally destroyed. And also we see parents turning in their children.
Yes. Yeah, It's unbelievable. Also, you mentioned religion, the need to shut down religion, because that, again, challenges your allegiances to the state. There's more information on this we go into very deep depth with Xi Van Fleet. It is one of the most fascinating podcasts we've ever done. I really hope that people catch it. I think Xi Van Fleet is a national treasure. I tell her that all the time because she's really raising the flags on what is happening in America. The parallels are just really uncanny and hard to deny. Xi, thank you for joining us this morning. Fascinating stuff.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me back.
Of course.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.